Hey there guys, hope you all having a good weekend. It's actually really funny because so far the start of my weekend has consisted of seeing a lot of hungover people, because we had BSR yesterday, which is basically just a giant pub crawl. So it's really funny seeing all the hungover people. Yeah, see, I'm enjoying it because I'm not hungover because I didn't participate, but I think it's funny. So I'm enjoying the start of my weekend so far. But today, I want to talk about something that I saw on Facebook to start with, and then did some research, and then I'm just going to end up ranting about something. So, what I saw, it's been going around Facebook, so a bunch of you have probably seen it. The show Duck Dynasty, apparently someone on Facebook, there's this thing going around saying that people complain to A&E about the whole prayer thing at the end of the show. I don't watch it, so I'm going off of what the internet says. And the head, like the kind of head of the family, was like, "No, if we don't have prayer, we don't do the show," kind of thing. Which I'll get to in a bit. But the thing is, actually looking it up on the rest of the internet and relying on things that aren't just Facebook shared posts, this never actually happened. Like, members of the family have said this didn't happen. So, lesson 1, don't always believe everything Facebook shared posts tell you. You gotta do research on some of that stuff. So, before you share something, unless it's just something funny that you know isn't true, then, don't share things like that. But I will say, it does bring up a good point in that, I'm going to stay away from the whole prayer and gun issue, kind of, because those are really just, you can't talk about those without half the world disagreeing with you. But I'm going to talk more about the whole kind of censorship thing that a lot of people seem to be, like, if they don't like something on TV or in music or in movies, they're like, "Oh, kill it with fire," instead of doing other things about it. I actually just wrote about 9-page paper on basically how the parental advisory stickers on CDs came about, and whether they actually are effective or not. And since I said they weren't, I offered a couple of other ways to kind of, instead of censoring stuff, to, like, constructively deal with it, instead of just to burn it. Go-to that a lot of people seem to have. So I figured I'd kind of talk about that, because, like, whether this issue is real or not, and I'm leaning towards not, it still brings up a lot of those issues, because it's basically these people calling for this whole part of this one show to be gotten rid of, or if that part's not gotten rid of, the whole show to be gotten rid of, because of something like praying. Okay, so your first step that you really have to do when you see something you don't like on TV or wherever, reassess whether it's actually bad or not. Because something like praying, they're religious, they're doing it because they're actual Christians. If they were doing it maybe to make fun of Christians, then okay, that might be a problem. But they're doing it because that's what they do. It's not bad. They're not hurting anyone. The only thing that they're really hurting in that show that I know of are ducks. So, praying's not that bad. Why are you getting your panties in a twist over it? I could see if it was something like where this one kid came up, "Look, Ma, I burned down old man McGregor's house down the road. I know he didn't like him, so I just kind of set it on fire." And Mom's like, "Oh, good job, Jimmy. Gold star for you today." That would be something that you might have a right to be angry about, especially if it's in, like, a real-life show and not a completely made-up show. Like, that's the kind of thing you kind of have a right to be mad about. Not a couple of people, not someone praying. So, number one thing you do, reassess, is it really bad? If the answer is no, it's not really bad, then you don't have a problem, and you need to get off your high horse. If the answer is yes, whether the answer really is yes or not, then step 2 is basically don't watch it. Don't listen to it. Don't do something. You know, like don't go, oh, this is automatically bad because I don't like something in it. Because it could be something other than what you interpret, like, especially with music and films, you know, especially music. There's so many ways to interpret different songs. So just because you think it's about something bad, the other people could think it's about something good, or the songwriter could be like, no, this is how I wrote it. Doesn't matter how you interpret it, this is what it means. If you want to interpret differently, go right ahead, but you're wrong. So, even if you're still offended by it, you need to go, okay, is this something that could be interpreted differently, or is it something that is actually about what you think it's about? Step 3, kind of with that, just continuing going along, like, if it's something that's actually really bad, censoring the music, or censoring the TV show, or stopping the movie, or whatever it is not going to deal with the problem. It's just basically like, oh, this is something I don't like, I'm going to cover it with a blanket. If I can't see it, it's not real. Wrong. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not a problem. So, like, all the things, like, you know, like, some songs are really violent, or movies are violent, or they degrade women, objectify women, blah, 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 all these answers. Censoring the songs is not going to stop those problems. Songwriters and, like, people who create these things don't just pull them out of their asses and just say, oh, this is a good idea, let's do it. They're coming from somewhere. Even if they're not, like, conscious of it. Any songs that degrade women are partly because whoever's writing them is coming from a society where people degrade women. Making the song stop won't change anything. What you have to do is deal with those problems in real life instead of just throwing a blanket over it and saying, oh, I'm done, good, everything's solved. No, that's not how it works. You can't do that if you really want change to happen. And the other thing, like, with that is, like, especially if you don't want your kids to think this is right, talk to them. Children can talk to you and can understand concepts much bigger than you think they can. So instead of just saying, don't listen to it, it's bad, or don't watch this TV show or movie or whatever, it's bad, talk to them. If you don't want your children turning out like the devil by listening to the devil's music or whatever, then talk to them about it. Say, okay, you can listen to this, whatever, but you need to understand that these things that they're talking about do not apply to real life, or are not acceptable in real life. There's a difference between things that are created in the music and TV and film and all that stuff realm, and what's actually legal and moral. There's a difference. This one is all pretend, it's not real. And even, like, in the reality shows they have aren't, like, really bad. They don't follow people killing other people and say, oh, this is how you need to live your life. No, this is pretend. This is real. This is where things matter. You need to have that disconnect between the pretend world and the real world, and if you know that, you're good. Also, and my last thing, like, especially with, like, TV shows, if you don't like a TV show, you do know there's this thing on your remote called the change channel button? So you got CH and then an up arrow or a down arrow. Hit that. You no longer have to watch the show you don't like for a reason that's dumb, like praying. Okay? If you don't like that kind of show, instead of complaining to everyone, I know that then watch something else. If it's not a big issue, like if it's not something that needs to be changed in society, then just watch something else. Or, you know, there's something called a book or the outside that you can go do instead. And it's just as fun and just as enjoyable. And hey, if you go outside, you can go on a picnic with your family, bonding time. It's great. So do that instead of pitching a bitch fit over stupid things. Okay? We clear? That sound like a good idea to anyone other than me? Yes? No? Maybe? I'm thinking yes. Yeah, so that's kind of my view on censorship as a whole, and how dumb I think it is, and, you know, like, what you need to do in situations like the Duck Dynasty thing, even though it's not real, but it's a plausible situation that could happen. So I think I got off track with counting the number of steps, so if you want to figure that out, go right ahead. I think I got out of order, but you know, it's not that hard to figure that stuff out, and I think kind of more people really need to actually stop and really think about whether what they're mad about is worth being mad about. So with that, I'm pretty much done on this topic, at least for this rant. I'll let you guys go listen to someone else rant about something on the interwebs. Yeah, so it's good to be back. I've been really busy lately with finals and stuff, but this coming week is finals week, and then I'll be done with college for my freshman year. I'm super pumped. Just want to thank all you guys for watching and being there. Just let me get stuff off my chest. All my links are in the bottom. Email, Twitter, my other video channel thingy that I will actually put a video up next week, or this Monday, hopefully. But all the stuff's down there. If you want to get at me, feel free. And with that, my name's Winnie Diaz. I make these videos every Saturday, and I will catch all y'all later.